Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about the difference between ESTP and ENTP recklessness. And this can go for ISTPs and INTPs as well, but because I'm an ENTP and I was really more thinking about ESTPs and their recklessness and such, that's kind of where I was leaning towards, but yeah, it could probably be the same for ISTPs and INTPs. Anyhow, so ENTPs, it really depends on the ENTP. Same with INTPs. I think INTPs tend to do this less, but I know ENTPs, there are certain ENTPs that are going to be more studious, and I think all ENTPs tend to be more mental, just thinking rather than going and doing. It's in our functions. It's in our type. It's in our Myers-Briggs type. It's because of our lack of SE and how we're an N instead of an S. However, I don't think our lack of SE makes us not reckless. I've always been someone who more thrived on thrills and being afraid, because I don't get scared that easily in movies or real life or anything. I just don't feel it that often. And because of that, I'm always intrigued when something's either disturbing or scary. And so I love doing stuff that's scary or risky. And I think the desire to do things that are risky actually comes from watching other people and thinking oh, it's more of a what if. If I do this, get that feeling. Yeah, it's just the thrill of doing it. And so, however, ESTPs and ISTPs as well, they've got high SE. And so their recklessness, it's not so much of a... Gotta plug in my computer. Sorry, back. Had an issue with plugging in the computer. Anyways, with ESTPs and ISTPs, it's not as calculated a decision so much to be reckless. It's more of an impulse, and they have that same desire to experience the thrills and excitement over just doing thrilling things. It gets them going. It makes them feel alive. But it's really not. So with ENTPs and INTPs as well, and this is going to depend on the ENTP and INTP. There are going to be ENTPs out there that aren't like me, that are really not really into the reckless kind of stuff. But for me, I think about it. I think I want to experience this. I see a cliff and I think, okay, how can I? So first of all, I never do something where. And the thing is, I always calculate the risks. So I never do something where my life is likely to be, I'm likely to die at doing it, because I actually do care about living. I'm not suicidal, but I think about it. SJs are going to be you could have the chance of dying in this. I know my sister, ISTJ, she freaks out so much about everything I do because they see a chance of death or something that immediately comes to the feeling of, that's dangerous, you shouldn't do that. And so then they don't do it and they get scared or disturbed a little bit when other people do it. With me, I see something where you could die from doing it. And my immediate thought, even if it's totally out of my reach of actually doing it, is what are the chances of dying? At what point would it be too dangerous? It's almost if it's above 50% chance, then I won't do it, or maybe 60%. Wait, no. Yeah, above 60% chance. I mean, if it's I don't know the statistics. There's not really any way to figure that out. If 60% chance of dying, then I might do it. But if it's 70%, then that's too far. I had to wrap my mind around the numbers. It's So yeah, my recklessness is a lot more calculated. So if I want to stand at the edge of the cliff, and then it kind of makes me seem kind of more fearless because of that. And ESTPs and ISTPs are going to seem really fearless as well, same amount, if not more. But for me, I look at something and I say, logically, I won't die doing this. If I put my foot here, the only way for me to die is if someone were to push me off. Therefore, I can stand up to the edge of this cliff because I know that even though if I did fall forward, I would die, I'm not going to fall forward. I can turn my jet ski in a way where I would flip over, because if I flipped over, the chances of me dying are only if I hit my head on the jet ski or whatever. And so it's really using my NE for recklessness instead of my SE, which is like ESTP and ENTP. We both have that as their top function. So that's what we do. So ESTPs are going to be like, cool, a cliff, I'm going to go stand next to it. From what I understand, they're going to say, I want to go really fast on this jet ski, I'm going to do it. ENTPs are going to actually look at the risks more. They're going to be very like, I said ENTPs, right? I'm talking about ENTPs. They're going to look at the risks more. It's not impulsive. All their risks, and some ENTPs seem like very risky people. Like me, I can seem like a dumb, risky person sometimes, especially like my sister who's ISTJ, and she just freaks out. But everything I do, I've determined that it's safe for me. And that's why the only times I've ever gotten like majorish injuries is actually just being careless or klutzy. I've broken my finger running. I got stung by like 20 stings of bees because I stepped on a yellow jacket nest, and that was just because, well, I was really young then too. Well, not kind of young. I was a kid, not like a super young, like little kid. Anyhow, it was because I was running ahead of everyone and I wasn't thinking about it. Just carelessness. If I'm actually thinking about, like, when I'm doing something more dangerous, I'm actually safer than if I'm doing something only slightly dangerous that I don't think about, because I've calculated all the risks and I know what I'm doing is okay for me and my abilities. I know that if there's something that I could do, but the chances of me dying compared to if a bodybuilder did it and is like hugely different sometimes. So like some things I know I myself I can't do them, like just with my abilities. So yeah, ESTPs, it's impulsive. ENTPs, they're very calculated risk takers, but that doesn't mean that they don't take risks. Just because someone thinks a lot about something doesn't mean they don't take risks. So it's the SE, which is more impulse. It's more, and SE is seeing your environment around you, which is probably why all the times I've gotten hurt is being careless, because I don't have SE. I do stupid things on accident. NE is seeing possibilities. So I look at the possibilities of what could happen. SE will look around them and say, what can I do? And then an ESFP is more likely to have the reaction of, because ESFP is also high SE, that's their top function as well, but they're going to look around at the situation and they're going to have the fear reaction of, there's a cliff there, like, or there's like dangerous rocks at the bottom or whatever, and they're more likely than an ESTP to look at it and say, I'm going to die. An ESTP is going to use their TI, which is their secondary function, through their SE. So, like, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the comments, it would be insulting if you didn't correct me on anything I say that's wrong or that you disagree with. I'm eager to take your disagreements, because that's how you learn. So, and that's half the reason I'm doing these. Anyhow, focusing. So an ESTP is going to use their TI and see the situation around them, understand their world. They'll be ESTPs and ISTPs. I have an ISTP friend, and he's actually really good at being reckless. ESTPs and ISTPs aren't stupid. My ISTP friend will do these things, and I'll think that's a dumb thing, but he knows what he's doing, because while he does act off of impulses a lot, and he'll do dumb things just off of impulse, he also has his TI and understands the risk. He understands the percentages of how likely something bad is going to happen. So it's different, but it's kind of the same thing with ENTPs and ESTPs, because it's TI second for both of them. Yeah, I think so. And it's just a different way of being reckless. So I suppose if you think about it this way, so like the ENTP has the idea of going up into it. The ESTP sees it and goes and does it. I don't use my SE when I'm being reckless. That would just like, oh no, like, no, just so many things using your SE for. The idea of acting impulsively off of things doesn't work with me. No, I tend to use my NE, like most, of course, because it's my first function. So when I see something that's dangerous, I think of the possibilities. When an ESTP sees something dangerous, he sees it and reacts and thinks logically through. And it's a cold, hard logic, TI is. It's not, you think, well, logically, you wouldn't do something dumb. But you can do something dumb in a smart way where you know you're not going to get hurt. And a lot of people will look at TPs and they'll go, I can't believe you said that horrible thing that goes against my morals. Or, I can't believe you just did that. Like, but the TI and TPs and stuff, and who have less like FI and such, it's with the low FI and the high TI, it's cold hard logic that doesn't really necessarily conform. In fact, I would say it doesn't. Almost never conforms to the world's logic. It's our own thought out logic. We use it all the time. It's how we work. I work off of my own logic. I consider the world's logic and decide if I agree with it or disagree with it. And lots of times, I don't think it's the majority of the times, because a lot of times if a majority of people believe something, then there's a reason why everyone thinks that that thing is dangerous over there. So I think about that. Anyhow, that's enough rambling on that. Had to create another video because I promised for more videos in the last one, and I was like, if I don't do it right away, I'm not going to do it at all. So gotta run off that first idea, or else it won't happen. It's my issue I found, because if I don't act first, if I don't act right away, then it's so much harder to do it. And someone commenting on one of my first videos explained this. It's because you're in my NE is so strong, so like I work off of ideas. And so when I get an idea for something that's really motivating, but then I get distracted with another idea, and then I want to go after that idea. And so yeah. Anyhow, I hope this helped you understand a little bit more about ESTPs and ENTPs and TPs alike. I love TPs. They're some of my favorite people ever. Whenever I meet one, I'm so excited because I'm like, yay, a fun person. Yeah. So, bye.